Now that we have spent a couple days working on practicing how to get different values using our pencil, we are ready to actually start trying to draw a realistic looking 3D ball with a light source that is coming from in front of it. So I'm going to get started on that on this paper, and I'm going to walk you through it. The first thing that I want to do is make sure my name is on the back. And then I can flip it over. I want to make sure that my paper is horizontal, so it's going side to side. It's not vertical long ways, so this way you're gonna have a lot more space to kind of work on your drawing. I got my pencil, I have an eraser and a sharpener also. That's all that I'm gonna need when I'm working on my drawing. I am going to first start by drawing just a circle. Your circle does not need to be perfect. In fact, mine is looking already kind of wonky. The one thing that I do want it to do is I do want it to fill up that space. If you want to try to kind of make your circle look real good, then you want to draw light and then you can erase any extra lines. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to erase that. You don't need to worry about erasing anything right now, though. So I have my circle. So this is going to be the actual ball. And then if you remember on the worksheet that we practiced with yesterday, we knew that our light source was coming from somewhere over here, right? So it cast a shadow that was behind it. So I can add in that kind of ovally shape for my shadow. So it's going to go kind of like that. And it's okay. Mine is a little bit off center, so I can go off the page a little bit too. If your ball is a little bit smaller, then it's not going to go off the page. But you have an idea of where it is in space. So I have a circle with an oval over here. The basic shapes are now drawn on my paper. Whoops, sorry about that. Okay. There we go. Sorry. The basic shapes are drawn on my paper so I can actually get started drawing. If you remember, I have my worksheet over here. I'm going to keep it just as a reference so I can remember where I need to put those lighter tints and those darker shades. So I remember my light source is coming from somewhere kind of up here. So I want my highlight, so the lightest part to be kind of in this area. So I want this spot to kind of stay as white as possible. I know that the edges of my ball are going to be a lot darker, so I can actually start over there and I can press kind of hard and just work on shading that in kind of darkly. This is a good time where you can kind of go into your circle shape and fix up any weird edges also. But again, it doesn't need to be perfect. We're more worried about how to work on the shading than we are on how to draw a perfect circle, because that's not that important. Okay, so I have a really dark shade out there as I work towards my highlight. So my highlight is not in the middle of my paper, right? It's kind of towards the top and almost centered. I'm going to get lighter as I work towards my highlight. You can see that I'm not doing any straight lines like that. This ball is round, so there's no straight flat surfaces on it. And we want to make sure that our lines are kind of mimicking that shape or copying that shape. So I'm doing curvy lines and I'm slowly starting to lessen up the pressure that I am applying onto my pencil. One thing that you may need to do a lot of while you are working on this is sharpen your pencil. So I'm going to have sharpeners available for us. So I am starting to loosen up the grip on my pencil, and as I'm working towards the middle, it is getting lighter. Or not the middle, the highlight, right? So I have my shaded part, the shadowy part, and I'm working in small kind of curved lines, not just going back and forth. That way it'll look nice and smooth. Okay, so I finished drawing my ball. You can see my highlight is still in that area. As it moves away from the highlight, so further away from the light source, my values get darker. So it's getting darker as it goes this way. If you're thinking about it this way, they get lighter. You can also see that because my light source and my highlight are not in the middle of it, the transition from darker to lighter over in this area is a lot faster because that space is a lot smaller. And then the transition from over here to, let's say, over here is a lot bigger, right? Because there's more of a space. This part is further away from that light source. I still need to color in my shadow, but I wanted to stop and just kind of talk about how I did this a little bit more. So when I go into color my shadow, this is all going to be one color. If you look at the reference that we're kind of working from, you can see this has that transition, but over here, this is just a solid black. So this is going to be as dark as I can make it over here. I'm going to quickly go in and do that so that you can see. And then after that, you can just kind of go in and erase any parts. It is a lot easier to start off too light and then make certain areas darker than it is to have everything be really dark and then to try and erase it into a lighter tint of that gray. So my suggestion is to start lighter and then go darker as you see fit. I'm going to go in and color this now one really solid dark color, and you can just kind of watch how I do that. So I'm pretty much finished with my shadow. I'm now just going to go in and kind of clean up any edges and erase anything, and that way it'll make it look even more spectacular. But that's pretty much it for how to draw a realistic looking ball with a light source that is coming from in front of it. So now I want you to try and do that. I will be walking around if you do need any help. This is going to be a little bit more complicated than just working on those sheets. So make sure that you're taking your time. If you have any questions, just let me know. But good luck.